blood drops on the doorstep of Nancy Guthrie's Tucson home, and the Pima County Sheriff says there are obvious signs of a break-in. He believes the 84-year-old mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie was taken from her home against her will in a possible kidnapping. Deputies were seen searching an area behind Nancy's home today.
Want to get to some breaking news now. Today, host Savannah Guthrie has posted a video on social media. This is the first time we're hearing from her and her family. This just came in. We want to share it with you right now. Let's take a listen.
We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
If Nancy's kidnappers did legitimately reach out to the media with a ransom demand, then it makes sense to respond to them via the media. And as you've seen just hours ago, Today Show host Savannah Guthrie, Nancy's daughter, has just done that in an appeal that simultaneously humanizes her mother, but also makes an important and critical request, a request for proof of life.
Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her.
Now, that reference to voices can be easily manipulated is quite interesting. It sounds like they are aware of something that has been recorded, certainly voices. Now, according to CNN, this reference, the plea by a 3-tron is likely meant to establish direct contact with possible abductors. And that is according to former FBI Deputy Director and CNN law enforcement analyst Andrew McCabe. That's not something that you would do if you were already in negotiations with someone that you actually thought had the victim. And so what is curious here is they are not already in negotiations. That is an interesting and actually quite an alarming development. What this shows is that the family themselves have likely not received any ransom demand directly. Why wouldn't you leave the ransom demand at the site, on her bed or something? As I say, this in itself is a big red flag indicating that the ransom demands that are out there are all bogus. Have a look at this. The Guthrie family has not said whether they have received a ransom note from possible kidnappers, but this video posted on Instagram likely indicates they have not, according to McCabe. Now, we also can narrow down the timeline to 2 a.m. to search the CCTVs in the area, because that's the time Nancy's pacemaker stopped syncing with her phone. That's also a crucial development in this investigation. We've also seen a police presence, including canines, return to the scene and cordon it off. I think that the search that went on there went on for about 2 hours.
We begin tonight with breaking news in Arizona. You are looking at a live shot at Nancy Guthrie's home, where there has all of a sudden been a major police presence. Police are roping off the house with crime scene tape, and search dogs and search teams are all on the grounds.
But nothing ultimately resulted from those searches. Now, personally, I think this is further reinforcement that the cops don't even believe the ransom notes are legit. Because why? Well, because they are exploring other possibilities, including that she might still be in the adjacent area. Have a look at this from CNN. Crime scene tape went up across the entire length of the property, and about a dozen law enforcement officers were seen at the scene for about 2 hours. Law enforcement could be seen carrying evidence bags into the house and appeared to bring some of them back outside into a vehicle. The law enforcement presence, including agents with the Phoenix FBI, was eventually cleared. Sniffing dogs were also on the scene.
The agonizing search for Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother continues as police say they're looking into the authenticity of an apparent ransom note for Nancy, originally sent to a local news station.
Now, in my opinion, what we are dealing with is a hit. The fact that they still haven't been able to authenticate these ransom notes, I think, shows that all of them are bogus. And so if it is a hit job, what I think is Nancy was abducted not for ransom, but in order to teach her a lesson. And if that's true, then I don't think Nancy is alive anymore. Now, before the ransom note drama, which, by the way, I thought was bogus when I first heard about it, but the way it was being reported, I also thought, well, maybe they know something I didn't. Maybe there's something in the ransom note that I don't know about. Anyway, I came up with a theory prior to the ransom note drama where these psychological puzzle pieces I thought all fitted into place. And this is how it goes. A cursory glance at Nancy's Facebook shows just how political her posts have been at a time when America has been particularly fractured and fractious. And I believe these posts triggered somebody. The fact that someone simply kicked in the door and dragged Nancy out and she was injured is the sort of thing we've been seeing in the news a lot lately, haven't we? That is the context. And it's in that sense that I believe this is a political hit job. It's also interesting that the American president has taken an interest in this case. Well, I can tell you, if an ICE agent or someone related to one is involved in this, because that's the sort of person who would be triggered by those posts, then what we are looking at is increasingly looking like murder, a politically motivated murder, and it is going, if it is that, it is going to have devastating consequences. By the same token, Tucson is very close to the Mexican border. If the perpetrator ends up being an immigrant, same thing. But I think someone, this is my theory, I think someone saw Nancy's Facebook and started taking it personally. I don't know about you, but a lot of people have been taking what has been going on personally, and perhaps someone took this very, very personally and wanted to take it out on Nancy personally and directly. And if that's the case, they don't want a ransom. What they want is to score some points. They want payback. That's the theory. If that is the case, then the prospects for a happily ever after in this particular case are grim indeed. So I do hope I'm wrong about this. Well, I'm not going to take it further than that. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.